Hey everyone, it's Melody here for the Sonshine Stamp Company design team. I am here today with a card video for you guys. I haven't shared a card video in probably a year. I don't share them very often, but I decided that this card would be worth sharing because sometimes it's hard to come up with ideas for cards to make. At least for me it is. Maybe not everybody's that way, but for me I have a difficult time coming up with an idea of how to make some cards. And birthday cards are in particular the hardest thing for me to come up with. So I am going to be using the Celebrate stamp set from the shop, and I will make sure to link that in the video description box below so you can go check it out. And I have pulled out these two little balloon stamps. There's a circular one and then there's a heart one. I'm going to end up only using the circular one, but I went ahead and stamped out the heart one too, just in case I decided to use it. So I have stamped this on some Post-it notes and I stamped it on the sticky part, so I'm kind of creating my own mask. Now you can definitely buy masking paper and stamp this out and trim it out yourself, but Post-it notes work just fine. So if you, just about everybody has Post-it notes in their house, so just grab some, stamp it on the top inch of it where the sticky part is, and then go for it. So it's taking me just a bit of time here to stamp this out. I stamp it out 4 or 5 times and then I just trim it out, and then I have my little mask right there for you. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. It just says Celebrate, and again, this is from this stamp set. All of the stamps that I'm using are from this one single stamp set. I created these cards with the idea in mind that you can get a lot done with just one stamp set. You don't have to buy 15 or 20 different stamp sets. You have one that you can make a bunch of different things with. So I decided to make a cluster of balloons, and I'm just going to stamp this one out right next to it. And I had thought about kind of putting it right, at an angle so the little strings under the stamp hang and kind of come together to make a little bow. I'm not going to end up doing that. I'm going to have them all just hang straight down, but it's a cluster of balloons. And then I'm using my pencil here to draw out the lines on the balloon, and this is where I'm kind of deciding whether I want them to come to the middle, and it would have looked fine, but I decided just to let them hang down, and you can kind of see me debating. And I keep trying the same balloon stamp here to just see how it looks if I were to use it. So I just pull out a pen, a Papermate Flare pen here, just to draw out my my little strings below. Now, because I decided to go ahead and let the strings hang, I could have just stamped the entire stamped image, but I kind of figured that out after the fact. So you don't have to draw your lines like I did if you want your ribbons to hang down on your balloons. Just stamp the whole thing. So if you noticed, the stamp has the balloon as well as the ribbons that hang down, and the way that I am just stamping the balloon is whenever I put my stamp to my ink pad, I just let the, since I'm using a clear block and it's a clear stamp, you can just ink up the part that you want to stamp. And I have my little Post-it image of the balloon covering the first balloon that was stamped so that the overlap does not show up. And you'll see exactly what I mean when I take those little masking Post-it pieces off the card base. So I have my stamps, my 3 balloons stamped out for my bottom row of stamps. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my little masking pieces right over those 2, and I'll stamp 2 more on top of it. And I'm just using my Paper Tray Ink Smoky Shadow ink, but you could pretty much use any ink. I would suggest one though that is a permanent ink and not one that's going to smear or smudge, like a Memento Tuxedo Black or something like that. I am going to be coloring in these balloons just with my colored pencils, but if you're going to use any kind of markers or anything like that, like Copic markers, you would want to make sure that you're going to use an ink to stamp your images that's not going to smear or smudge. So as you can see, I have my little Post-it notes, my Post-it note balloons covering all the ones that I've already stamped. That way any of the overlap does not show, and it's going to be, you'll see it right here in just a moment whenever I take all of those off. I dumped all my pins out because that's what happens when you're recording a video, but I needed my little tweezers to take those little posts, and they come right off. I just didn't want to smudge anything The ink was totally dry, but I just err on the side of caution. So as you can see, my little cluster of balloons is beautifully stamped there with absolutely no extra edges showing. And I take the little confetti stamp from the stamp set and just stamp a little bit of confetti in each of the borders. So that is pretty much the card. I'm just going to take some colored pencils and color in here. So I've got just some basic Crayola colored pencils, nothing fancy at all, but I like the variety of colors that come in here, and I just kind of color out on a piece of paper to see if I like the different colors. I'm going to settle on a gray, a kind of sky blue color, and a teal. Pretty simple, but I decided to make this a boy card. And those are my colors pretty much there. So now you just simply go in and color in. Very simple, very basic, but I just really like the idea of using one stamp set and some very basic supplies, black ink and colored pencils and just white paper. Almost every crafter has those basic supplies, and if you're a card maker, you definitely have stamps in your stash. What I really like about this stamp set is you have a mix of sentiments as well as like decorative stamps. So there are 2 different balloon options. There are 2 different banner options. I'm going to use the banners on the next card that I'm going to make. This is a 2-card video for you guys today to just show you how versatile this stamp set is. And then there's also some ribbon stamps, the confetti stamp as you saw, and then it has hooray and celebrate, and then a few single banner stamps where you can create your own banner if you wanted to. And then like a tassel stamp that you can use for the end of your banner. So there's that first card. Very simple, but it's just a 1-layer card. That is exactly what I was looking for. This card is probably going to go to one of my brother-in-laws or somebody like that, of course I want to send a nice birthday card to, but they're not really into really frilly cards, you know, flashy or frilly cards. Just basic cards are kind of their thing. So this next one, I am going to go ahead and stamp the banner up in the corner, and then I'm going to stamp the confetti pieces right around the hooray. Very simple card. Again, just making it decorative and coloring it in with my colored pencils. I'm making this more of a feminine card with pink and yellow. It's still nice and bright and colorful. Since this one is a little bit more basic, not a whole lot going on, I decided to also then go ahead and mount the front of this card. It's a smaller like square card. Go ahead and mount the front of this card on a hot pink card base just to make that pink stand out, and it just kind of gives it a little bit more of an impact. Then I just color in my little confetti pieces as well. These are very basic cards, but I really like the single layer cards where you don't have to have a whole lot going on. It doesn't have to be incredibly flashy. It just has to be cute and meaningful. And these are handmade cards, so anybody that gets these hopefully is going to really like the fact that you put your time and effort into your cards. So anyways, I will include the link to the stamp set in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this, and make sure you go check out the shop as well as the blog, which will be linked below, for more stamps that you can purchase from Sonshine Stamp Company. Her stamps are perfect for scrapbooking or project life or Bible journaling or card making or memory journaling. Whatever you do, these stamps are awesome. She's probably got just about anything to fit your needs, and there are some new stamps coming out in just a few days, so make sure you go check those out. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great day. Bye.